Hi, Dad. How are you today?
I'm fine, Jordana. We are enjoying a wonderful Sunday afternoon. The sky is blue, it's springtime. The squirrels are running around the backyard, and we saw a wonderful Hallmark last night.
That is so true. We are in a royal march, or as Hallmark's calling it, and this was another royal adventure we went on, and this one was called The Reluctant Royal.
You know, I am not big on royalty and having somebody come over from a foreign country and fall in love, but this was different. This was a fun movie to watch,
Yeah.
and it was totally different and unexpected from what I thought I was going to see. And I think Hallmark did a great job.
Well, I knew you would like this one. I even said it when we were talking about it because it wasn't, as you said, a traditional royal movie. The one we didn't watch yet, the Royal We started and we did not finish it, so we'll have to review that at another time. But that one we just couldn't get into yet because that was a traditional royal movie. This one, on the other hand, started off really fun. The characters I thought you really enjoyed. We had Andrew Walker, who is Hallmark royalty, I should say.
Yes, he's certainly a wonderful actor.
He is. He's in all of the Hallmark movies, or a lot of them. And he's sitting in his mid-40s, and he is flourishing on Hallmark. And I mean, he looks great. He is a fabulous actor. And
how about his co-star?
So, and Emily DeRaven, I think is how you pronounce her name. She hails to us from Australia, but she is new to Hallmark, but not new to anybody who has watched anything on TV from my childhood, which she was on Roswell.
She is a very realistic actress, and she looks like she could be a member of someone's family, and you could just hug her because she is so sweet. And she played opposite Andrew Walker beautifully.
Yeah, she started off her career as a ballerina and then realized she really had a flair for acting and came over to the States, was in Roswell as a child with a fabulous cast in that, and played Tess, the fourth alien, and then was in, which Mom and I watched Once Upon a Time, and she played Belle in that, so she played a princess in that. And fabulous.
For our movie viewers and for our review viewers, this is a warm, feel-good movie. It's very sweet, and it's classic Hallmark.
Yeah, and fun. There was great music, I thought.
Yes.
Because it warmed the heart because they had music, they had a little karaoke in it. But he played a mechanic from Philadelphia.
Right.
And so there was humor, American humor, brought over to Europe.
And he mentioned the Philadelphia cheese steak.
Yeah.
Yes. As being served at the royal on the royal menu.
Yeah.
Yes. But I must bring attention to the fact that we were also treated to the writers. There was Neil and Tippy Dabrowski, and to most people, we don't know who these are, but Neil and his wife Tippy, with Samantha Herman, have been writing for Hallmark and Netflix and all the other channels for over 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And they are known as the Hallmark Christmas King and Queen of writers.
Okay.
So we were, so blessed by having their writing and their skills that they've honed over 30 years. And it was just a wonderful evening.
And we always wonder, do they get to have a say in who gets cast for their characters? Because I know they definitely could have handpicked these characters for these roles. Andrew Walker played Johnny. And it was so funny. We were watching this and you made this comment. You're like, Johnny something, and he had his name on his mechanic outfit at the beginning, and I was like, what? Yeah. How did you know that was his name? Because no one had said it before. There, right there. Just like a mechanic's outfit usually has on it. And then Emily had played Prudence, who I loved her storyline. We didn't really know how she got to be the advisor of the Duke, but they brought in a warmth to her character.
But also a warmth to the Duke.
Yeah, a warmth to the Duke, how he took her in because her parents had passed.
Yes, and sort of raised her as his own.
Yeah.
And just the name Prudence sort of gives you a feeling, although nothing against Prudence. I've known some very nice Prudences in my day, but I haven't heard that name recently.
And a little bit about the Duke, we see him as this, they call him Old Crusty.
Yeah.
in the I don't know if it's not a palace, whatever the castle yards are, but he had obviously the soft spot. He went by Billy as a child before he took over as the Duke, and fell in love with Johnny's mom, Dottie.
Dottie, right?
And we of course knew that he must have not known about abandoning this child, Johnny. And there had to have been someone who intervened.
The story is plausible, because we've heard about royalty sending their kids to American colleges, and of course, when you have a duke or a prince from a royal family coming to the United States, there's going to be love and love interest.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks it took.
Yep, and we've known people who've gotten married after a week.
Yeah.
And every so often, children pop up and they're gone back to their land, and the children have no idea that their parents were royalty.
Or it could have been unroyalty.
Yes.
Letters are exchanged. Parents don't see that for their future.
Yes, and what it emphasized is that we had a single mom raise this young man in South Philadelphia, and suddenly he was thrust into a world that he didn't know, but he found that he could adapt pretty well for that.
And he only went. He didn't really want to be in this spotlight and have anything to do with the money or this. He wanted to see who his father was.
Yes.
And to basically say, why did you abandon me, to hear him out?
Yes.
And that's what it was. It wasn't about anything else. And that's what I think any child who may be going through this really just wants to know the why, or to meet the parent.
Well, also, it was filmed in Dublin, Ireland, and it was filmed in a castle that was 300 to 500 years old. And
gorgeous land.
Yes, it was just beautiful. But the story, I thought, was so wonderful, so heartwarming. It brought tears to my eyes.
And we got to see some good bar life. He was in a bar in the States, and then he found the pickled pickle.
Oh, what a wonderful name for a bar. The pickle.
And he fixed a jukebox there, and they played darts, and they fell in love, So
a classic Hallmark.
A Hallmark, and then
written by Hallmark experts whose job is to write all of these wonderful stories, and you wonder how they can keep them separate.
Now, of course, there was somebody who came in between the story, as most Hallmarks do. There was a cousin who was in line to be the Duke.
Yes.
Before they finding out that there was the son that nobody knew existed.
And he looked sort of typically royal. Nothing against the royal family, but he looked sort of royal and stuffy with his shirt and his actions. But our hero and his love for Prudence took the day.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yes.
What did you think about the food they served when they brought out the jelly eel?
Jelly eel. It looks delicious.
Oh, yes. It looked at you with those eyeballs, and everybody. It was
nobody was a good hamburger sandwich.
I loved how Johnny held his own, and didn't want to wear the customary clothes, and they're like, you can change, and he's like, I'm not.
Well, but he was from South Philadelphia, which is sort of Americana.
It's Americana. He is just your typical. He was an auto mechanic, or in the auto industry as they called it, and he was good with his hands, and that's what he loved to do.
Today, auto mechanics are worth their gold.
Yeah.
their value and goal. If your car doesn't work and you call your auto mechanic, it's like calling a doctor to get a doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
You want to get your car going, and that mechanic is the doctor of the automotive industry.
And he seemed to be able to fix anything. So, I
Yes.
mean, that is a gift, and especially anywhere that you need. But it was, I thought, a phenomenal Hallmark movie.
Don't miss this one. This is a lot of fun. You will enjoy it, and it's not so much royal as it is people and their affinity for each other and their love for each other. What's on for next week?
So the next week is the Royal-ish, and this one is about I don't know if it's they call it a Disney princess, but it's an amusement park princess who finds her way being like a nanny in a real palace. So it's going to be something. I don't think they can use Disney's name, but it's an amusement park princess who ends up having to be like a nanny in a real kind of place. And it was interesting because they had it this last one. Remember where they did like they ended it and then they ended up being in there like, and now let's talk about your cousins and your family tree.
So they have like a connection to the next Hallmark.
I'm not sure because the gentleman in this next one's name is Henry, and they started going over the family tree, and there was your cousin Henry or something. So I'm interested to see if this is the tie-in to it.
A connection.
I'm not sure,
Yes,
but I don't know if that was the reason for it.
Again, Hallmark has really changed their format, and they've made things much more exciting to watch and to enjoy. And remember, they're up against a tough time slot. Saturday evening, people are going out. People are watching other movies on their Netflix or whatever they're watching. And Hallmark is competing beautifully.
Yeah, and did you catch that there was an actual commercial for traveling to Ireland this time? Because we were in Ireland, and they actually showed, for the first time I noticed, a commercial for Ireland.
Yeah, Hallmark is doing very, very well, and that's why we enjoy reviewing Hallmark, because it's a fun evening, and with the inflation of the food and the cost of going to the restaurant, staying at home and watching Hallmark with a box of popcorn that we pop in our own popcorn maker is very, very inexpensive evening of pleasure.
Yeah, it was good. And this one was a great one. I strongly recommend watching The Reluctant Royal with Andrew Walker and Emily DeRaven. They were all phenomenal, and the whole cast was really good. I really liked who played the Duke, and Dottie was fun.
The whole thing was
great
fun.
Characters, and everybody in there was Finchy was cute.
So we're going to see everybody next Sunday, and I hope everybody changed their clocks. Remember, spring forward. So we lost an hour of sleep last night, but we gained some beautiful sun today, and it's 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it's still somewhat bright outside. So enjoy, everybody. It's always a pleasure. Jordana, do you want to say farewell to our friends? Yes. And take care of your loved ones and take care of yourself.
Bye-bye,
Goodbye, everybody.